Like if you watch the documentary about the OJ case, the reason why they felt that OJ ultimately won was because the only people that were left in the jury were people that were essentially unemployed. See what I'm saying? All the actual like professional people who had jobs, who had careers, who went to school, who had something going for them, they all left. They were left with 8 people who were unemployed, who had nothing to do. So therefore the overall education level and, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say the intelligence level because intelligence is, you know, you don't have to have a job to be intelligent, but I'm saying that all the people that were, you know, went to college, have careers, and understand things on a slightly higher level, they all bailed out. They were left with a whole bunch of people who were, you know, on welfare, on disability, you know, sat around watching TV all day that had nothing going for them. So they're into conspiracy theories and, you know, QAnon shaman types, you know what I mean, who basically were like, yeah, this is all a conspiracy and he's not guilty.
Hey, listen, I'm wondering, like, for example, with YFN Lucci, right? Apparently he was offered like a 20-year.
Yeah, I heard about that, which he rejected.
Yeah, he rejected it. But still, these guys, obviously there's a murder involved, so there's probably no favorable plea. And really, I think they want to really throw the book at Thug because if you go by their theory, which they're going to say he was responsible for ordering the murder, if they give him anything but 20, right, it's going to look like he's getting off pretty lightly for doing such a thing. I'm wondering if they're going to get to a point of just saying, hey, listen, man, we already gave these guys like probation. Man, this fucking case is a mess. We'll go below whatever we would have normally offered or wanted to get from you, but we got to just end this shit, man.
Yeah.
And I think for Fonnie Wills, I think, you know, we just seen Trump get indicted for the second time. This was a federal one. She has a case sitting on her desk for, you know, Georgia with Trump, which I think possibly could redeem her good stature and good standing among people, because I think people have been looking at her with this case to say, it's one thing you're cleaning up crime, but this whole case looks like a fucking mess. Yeah. This just looks like a mess.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that it hasn't started yet, people have been sitting in jail for what, over a year now?
Yeah.
And it hasn't even started yet. There hasn't been a single juror that's been picked, shows that it's a disaster. And, you know, shout out to the lead attorney who came in, who's been following this case, who said the exact same thing. He said, it's a mess. It's a mess. Like the lawyers are saying they're going to have to do OnlyFans to support themselves.
Hey, I you know, and I always say, I hear from my Atlanta street sources, I hear that it is a little bit light at the end of the tunnel when it comes to Thug, in the sense of it's a possibility he might get out on bond because of how crazy this trial is. Like the trial is taking so long to start. They just let out a guy who got denied like 4 or 5 times. And actually they locked up his lawyer. The guy whose lawyer was coming in court with like his prescription and they locked him up. After his lawyer got out, I think the judge was like, this is some clown shit. Like, let this guy out. Y'all are locking up his lawyer. He just got out on bail. I think it makes it look a little bit more attractive for Thug to say, hey, listen, to come up with a package, say, hey, let me go back to my mansion. I'll show up here every day to fucking pick a jury. But at the end of the day, like, we're not even getting this shit started. I think the judge is kind of frustrated with this whole thing.
Well, according to George Cheedy, I think the reason why no one's getting bond is because what you said earlier, there's a bunch of people that are still on the run. And they're worried about witness tampering and intimidation and stuff like that. You know, the fact that there are two key members are still on the run is complicating things. And listen, at some point, the trial either has to start or it has to be dropped, or people have to do plea deals. You know what I mean? Listen, maybe they ultimately give Young Thug a 5-year plea deal. He takes it, you know, ends up doing 2.5 and comes out. Who knows?
This is one of the things that I don't think people also think about in the sense of like a prosecutor. Yo, your tax-paying dollars are funding this whole thing. Yeah. They're running through money trying to trying to try these guys, and they're doing a very ineffective job of it.
Yeah.
And it looks like there's no start and no end in sight. So again, at a certain point, it's like, what are y'all gonna do? We'll figure it out.